That was England manager Sarina Wiegman yesterday at St George's Park. She has been a monumental manager for England so far. 2 European titles and a World Cup final. I can't actually imagine anyone else being England manager now, Karen.
No, I can't either. She's been so successful, hasn't she? 3 consecutive European championships, and she's gotten the Netherlands to a World Cup final and England to a World Cup final. So, you know, what she said there, it would certainly, I think England are a country that would love to bring a World Cup home, and if it's on home soil, that's fine, but even better, it would be sooner in Brazil.
Must be noted, of course, that it's a UK bid for the 2035 Women's World Cup. Really exciting prospect. 2022 home Euros was such a success for England. Could be a brilliant opportunity, not just for England, but for the home nations as well. And the FA here were handing out little 2035 pins in the press room earlier, so I've got one of those on my shirt.
Sure, there'll be collector's items soon, especially the one you're wearing.
Yeah. But as you mentioned, Karen, next Senior World Cup 2027 in Brazil, and England learnt their opponents for the European qualifiers earlier this month. We will have Iceland, Ukraine and Spain again. Those games, home and away, will be between March and June 2026. If the Lionesses finish top of the group, they'll automatically secure their spot in the World Cup finals in Brazil. If they finish second or third, they'll have to take part in 2 rounds of playoffs in October, November and December. Spain again, Karen.
I know, they're going to be sick of the sight of each other, but we're not. I mean, it's always a good game, isn't it? But literally the dust has only just settled off after the back of that campaign in Switzerland when England brought it home. And, you know, they're so fun to watch, Spain. They are, you know, they'll be the girls will be loving this rivalry that's building against them because they have such talent in that squad. You know, they've got the likes of Aitana Bonmati, who's now the 3-time Ballon d'Or winner, Alexia Putellas, of course, and, you know, the scary feat of Claudia Pina and her goal-scoring ability. So, yeah, it'll be one I've certainly got my eye on.
Yes, perhaps they're as scared of us as we are of them.
They should be, yeah.
They should be. So, Wembley is the stage tonight. There are some pyrotechnics going on, a big England crest over the centre circle, and the England and China flags are laid out. The players about to come out here for this friendly. It's not a massive game in terms of the competitive nature. It is a friendly, but it's interesting to see England playing a team that's not Spain or not another European nation, and it's a bit of an unknown, really, Karen.
Yeah, it is. There's always a lot of benefits to playing a team that you don't face very often. You know, you saw in Australia in the 2023 World Cup when, you know, England faced Haiti and obviously Nigeria, and just how different those types of teams are. They're quick, they're powerful, they're direct, and you really have to kind of shift your focus, you know, to expect different sort of flow in the game. You know, tonight will be a similar test, but I think even facing Ghana as well in a few days' time will prove to be even more challenging.
Yep, Ghana on Tuesday at St Mary's is the 4th friendly, and that will mean that England will have played 4 teams from 4 different continents even: Brazil, Australia, China and Ghana, so giving the England players an experience of different teams all over the world and how they play the game. As Frank Kirby comes out onto the pitch with the European trophy and lays it on the plinth, waves to everybody in the crowd. England really using this as an opportunity to celebrate that trophy that they won in the summer in front of 80,000 people here at Wembley. The Lionesses really do bring the crowds in. And China are here as well, of course. They must be watching on thinking, wow, this is England's party, and they will be looking to ruin it this evening. So here come the players then on this cold November evening in West London. Wembley the stage, China the opponents for the Lionesses, and it's an England side with plenty of new faces in the squad as Sarina Wiegman looks to experiment in this penultimate international friendly before the close of 2025. And it's been some year for England. In the summer they defended their European title, but Wembley was the stadium where they won their first Euros and holds a special place in the hearts of many of these players. Today might not be a big competitive final, but for some of these players making their debuts or first few caps, it's a magical moment and a chance to show Sarina Wiegman why they should be in her plans as England build up to the 2027 World Cup in Brazil. And ahead of kick-off, we will have the national anthems of both sides, starting with China. It's England versus China then, live on Sports Extra 2 from Wembley, where 80,000 fans are packed in on this cold autumnal evening. These sides last met in the World Cup in the summer of 2023 in Australia. England ran out 6-1 winners on that day and would, of course, go on to reach the final of the World Cup. They lost that to Spain. Different challenge then, a different China. And what are you expecting ahead of this one, Karen Bardsley?
I don't think I can understate the importance in the role that friendlies play in building up to a major tournament. So, the fact that Sarina Wiegman can change things up a little bit, try a few things out, maybe a slight change in formation, perhaps obviously some new faces as well. I think this will really pay dividends by the time that Brazil and the qualification is secured, by the time Brazil comes around. So I'm expecting, China are a team, they'll punish you if you make mistakes. They could see some shifts in terms of formation as well. They'll shoot from distance or direct. There's a big target up front in number 20 that will put herself about and make things difficult for the centre back. So I expect we'll see a lot of direct play from China.
And a couple of these Chinese players played in that group game in the World Cup in 2023, including a couple of the midfielders, Yao Wei and Chen Cho-ju as well, played in that game as the two captains meet the referees in the centre circle ahead of kick-off. Our referee this afternoon is Alina Pescu of Romania, and we do also have VAR and goal line technology in operation. And captaining England this evening is Keira Walsh in the absence of Leah Williamson.
Yeah, it's great to see Keira wearing the armband. She's worked so hard, tirelessly over the years, and over that time, I think she's learned a lot about herself, a lot about her teammates, and how to play in that leadership role. And it's understated. She's not going to be that person that's screaming and shouting, but she makes eye contact with you at the right time, and exactly, like, she's looking into your soul, saying you need to put the ball here, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she's just so consistently good. She's always in the squad, and she's willing to take big moments onto her shoulders in effort to make a difference. So I'm sure she'll be really embracing this opportunity tonight.
This is her 96th cap for England, so she is a player that has lots of experience in that white shirt, approaching the 100 mark figure. It will be England that will get us underway. In the centre circle is Ella Toone, who of course scored in the European final 2022 against Spain. Here at Wembley, she loves a goal at Wembley, Ella Toone. Will she be getting one this evening? So Ella Toone gets us underway then. England in their white shirts with the blue shorts and white socks, shooting from left to right. China in all red with black socks. And straight away, a foul on Georgia Stanway, and it will be a free kick for England in the right-hand channel, which they wanted to take quickly, but referee not content that the ball was stopped before it was kicked, so we will pull it back. And it will be taken by Maya Le Tissier. So let me go through the lineups for you again if you just joined us then. So a debut in goal for Anna Morehouse. No Hannah Hampton, she's out with an injury. Kiara Keating also pulled out with an injury earlier today. Back four, Charles, Morgan Le Tissier, who's making her third consecutive start for England and her second consecutive start at centre-back, not at right-back. Charles at left-back, Walsh, Stanway and Toone in the middle, and the front three, Hemp, Russo and Mead, as China make their way up the pitch and get a throw in midway inside England's half. Let me give you the lineup as well for the Chinese. In goal is Pan Hongyan, a back four of Wong Lin Lin, Du Jiaxin, Wu Haiyang, and a player that some England fans might be familiar with from her time at West Ham and Brighton. She's now at Rangers. It's Lee Meng Wen. And looking at China, it might be that they are playing a back three rather than a back four. We'll keep an eye on that. Midfield, Wong Ai-Fang, Yo Wei, Chen Chu-ju, and then the front three, leading the line is Wong Yang Wen. Either side of her, you've got Xiao Ji-chin, as well as Wu Ri-gu-mula. So China with the throw, and then it's a long one into the England penalty area, and it bounces nicely and then fired from range, strikes the red shirt, and England clear, but an early half chance for China, Karen Bardsley.
Yeah, England really need to be switched on. We've seen in the past that China can capitalise on set pieces and stoppages in play as well, and this is a very organized attack, well structured, lots of numbers in and around the area for China, and England just need to focus and clear their lines, clear the danger where they can.
Another long throw-in comes in and it's headed out of play and behind for a China corner, the first corner of the game, headed out by Lucy Bronze. And long throw-ins are all the rage and all the topics of discussion in the Premier League, but China also doing a long throw, Karen Barsley.
Well, you know, if you've had a centre forward, Xiao Zichin, that looks like she's probably 2 inches taller than I am. She must be about 6'2" in that box, and she puts herself about, so she's definitely going to be the focal point.
In comes the corner, and it goes over everyone at the back post. Will be rescued though by Lee Meng-wen. The red shirts remain in the penalty area, and it comes in, and it's gathered by Morehouse, who initially dropped it but claims it again, and she'll want to get some early touches, won't she, Anna Morehouse, on her debut?
Yeah, you just want to get your hands on the ball, just do the simple things well, and you know, she is really good at claiming those balls, like protecting that space, defending that area, and she'll be pleased with the fact that she's been able to keep hold of that one.
3 minutes played, England 0, China 0. It is her debut, of course, Anna Morehouse, but it's not like she's a teenager. She's 30 years of age. She plays for Orlando Pride. She's an experienced goalkeeper.
No, she is. I mean, she found herself obviously in the NWSL Championship game 2 seasons ago, and just, you know, in a run of the playoffs as well this previous season. So she's been there, she's done it. You know, I think she's challenged herself by going to the States and really working on her game.
China pressing England in their own defensive third. England have it with Maya Le Tissier, Manchester United's captain. She goes long to her former teammate Alessia Russo, who is in behind here, but from a wide angle at the edge of the box. Goes for the cut back, and there's 2 England players there, Toon and Mead. Couldn't find either of them. It's brought back though, picked up again by Ella Toon. She combines with Stanway. The ball goes off Lauren Hemp, off a Chinese defender, and out for an England corner.
Working the ball into some really good spaces on one side with Alessia Russo pulling out wide, and then the opposite straight away with the rapid legs of Lauren Hemp flying down that left-hand side. Just got a bit beyond her in the end, but it's great to see Lauren Hemp back in an England shirt, isn't it?
Very much so. She's had a difficult year in terms of injuries the past year, particularly at club level for Manchester City. And here comes England with their first corner. It's an in-swinger towards the back post, and the Tissier was there. Out it goes for another England corner. In fact, it was Niamh Charles at the back post, but knocked behind by China for an England corner. 0-0 still as we approach the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, you can just see where the likes of the numbers for England are loading in that back post area. I think it's a long ball in, and perhaps a header back across goal for a second phase finish, but we'll just have to wait and see.
So a corner from the other side then. It is Lauren Hemp again though who will deliver it. All the players lining up at the back post waiting for the delivery. In it comes, in swinger, headed down and straight at goalkeeper Pan Hong Yan. Comfortable save for the goalkeeper, all in green, kind of merging into the green turf here at Wembley.
It's a good delivery in, good contact with a header from Maya Le Tissier. Yeah, it was a bit too comfortable, a little bit too easy, not enough on it.
China in possession, midway inside their own half. Forward they go, looking for Wurigamula, but it is won back by England, and then they knock it over straight away, looking for Beth Mead, who's through on goal. Past the goalkeeper, squares it. The flag is up, though, for offside. She did look some way offside. Beth Mead there, Karen Barsley.
I think some way is being kind, Flo, to be honest. No, she was miles offside there, and unfortunately she finds herself down at the minute. Bit of a late contact, I'd say, from Pan Hong Yang in the Chinese goal. It's the right idea. I mean, the space, the back line is quite high for China, so the space is in behind, but yeah, that run just came a bit too soon before the delivery.
Yep, now I've seen the replay, it is really very much offside. No question of needing to draw the lines there or have semi-automated offsides, but a good move from England, and that's a couple of times now that England have tried to catch that high line of China and go over the top, looking for the runs of Beth Mead and Alessia Russo.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Alessia Russo is so good at running those channels. She spins off the shoulder of the centre backs, and then she finds herself in so much space, and you know, it's so disorientating as a defender as well. We've got constant movement off your shoulders and on that blind side as well, so I imagine it will be challenging for China to keep that structure.
Still 0-0 in these early stages. 6 minutes played here at Wembley in this friendly between England and China. It's a goal kick, or a free kick even, for China. They take it short into Wang Lin, who fires it forward straight into the channel, looking for Wang Yanwen. Out it goes, and it's at the feet of the manager of China, Ante Milicic, a man who played for Australia, managed the Australian men's side. He didn't manage them, he was an assistant under Ange Postecoglou. Managed the Australian women's national team at their home World Cup, and he's now manager of China. He's got a long puffer coat on as he prowls around his technical area. No sight of Sarina Wiegman, who's sitting in the dugout as England have the ball at the back. Lauren Hemp twists and turns and tries to fire it forward, looking for Russo, and it's fired out of play by the Chinese captain, Do Ji-ching.
And Lauren Hemp looks like, she's going to get a lot of joy in those wide areas as well. Those runs, the centre backs aren't going to want to step out. The defenders aren't going to want to step out too wide from that central space.
England in possession then. 0-0 the score here on Sports Extra 2. England up against China. Forward, the ball goes over the top, looking for Russo, who is in behind the defence. Again wide though. Waits for the defender to go down. Plays the cutback, and it's smuggled back to the Chinese goalkeeper, who fires it forward. First time looking for Chao Chi-jin, number 20. 4 goals in the last 5 appearances for China. She's the player that you mentioned, Karen Bardsley, who is much taller than the rest of the Chinese players, playing down the centre of the pitch there. Big centre forward as the ball's played in, looking for Russo, and China clear.
The last few moments, England have really created some dangerous opportunities going forward. The final pass just hasn't quite come off, or there's been some good Chinese defending in terms of interventions. But, Beth Mead just put in a lovely ball in behind that Chinese backline. There's just no one on the end of it.
England in possession in China's half. It's with Ella Toom, and just keep it in on that far side. England trying to work it round to this side. Stanway into Beth Mead, into the penalty area. Heavily marked, tightly marked. Out now to Lucy Bronze, whose first time delivery takes a nick off a Chinese defender. It comes back to Bronze. She lays it off to Stanway on the edge of the box. Now it's knocked further back and all the way to Niamh Charles, England's left back this afternoon. She's dispossessed though, and China will look to go forward again, looking to hit Chao Ji-chin. Does not get her though, as Mai Le Tissier is there to help out. Mai Le Tissier playing at centre back. She struggled for minutes under Sarina Wiegman and under England, with the likes of Leah Williamson, who is out. A lot of England defenders are actually missing for this evening. Williamson's out with injury, as is Greenwood. Jess Carter given a rest after Gotham won the NWSL. As forward come England now. Mead plays the ball in the penalty area. The header flicked on and behind by Alessia Russo. Near post header, couldn't quite get the glancing touch required.
It's a great build-up down that right-hand side for England, with Lucy Bronze getting forward and combining with Beth Mead as well, with a good delivery into the area. Again, just struggling to find England on the end of it. Alessia Russo puts herself about, dive-in header, but she just struggles to really connect cleanly with the ball. It looks like it comes off her shoulder. But again, just really good spaces, really good areas that England are working this ball into. Lots of cutbacks at the edge, but just no one seems to be timing their arrival to get on the end of it.
11 minutes played. England 0, China 0, and that was the best opportunity so far for England. Alessia Russo header, or more of a shoulder as it came in as she tried to knock it on. And Bronze now searching forward, plays the ball into Beth Mead, who touches it and pokes it past the goalkeeper, and England are in front. And it's Beth Mead that looked so simple. A ball in from Bronze, and Mead did the rest. England 1, China 0.
You're absolutely spot on there, Flo. Absolutely spot on. It's Lucy Bronze getting forward again, as she does. So much creation coming down that right-hand side, and a little ball just for Mito to run onto, and nice little touch, gets it out from under her feet, and then just pokes it past the Chinese goalkeeper. It doesn't always have to be pretty, but it's efficient. When you're moving, you're receiving on the run. Nice little poke, doesn't allow the Chinese goalkeeper to get set, and you're on your way. It's 1-0.
A 38th goal in an England shirt for Beth Mead. The numbers she has put up for England are really remarkable. They are. That's 38 goals now in 77 caps for Beth Mead. She might not always be the first name on the team sheet for her club, Arsenal, at the moment, but Sarina Wiegman certainly trusts her.
She's just so impactful, isn't she? She's determined, she puts in great crosses. She obviously used to play as a 9, so she's comfortable in front of goal in tight spaces as well. So her versatility is really crucial for this Lioness side.
England leading by 1-0 then, as Kira Walsh goes in for a slide-in challenge and wins the ball off Wang Yen-wen. England have it now with Letitia, rolls the ball over her foot and plays it square to Esme Morgan, another player playing out in the States. Anna Morehouse both playing for NWSL sides. Esme Morgan, for Washington Spirit, as England come forward again. Ella Toone down the left now, cuts back, leaves the defender on the floor, fires the ball in, out the back post is Beth Mead, and England have a second. Only moments after they scored their first, this time down the left. Good ball in from Ella Toone, and it's a second goal for Beth Mead. England 2, China 0.
Happy days, absolutely on a plate for Beth Mead from Ella Toone. A lovely delivery. It's come from that left-hand side. Ella Toone seeing the space, she's taken that touch, got the ball at her feet. Again, lovely delivery. And the Chinese are at 6s and 7s in terms of being able to track these runners. Ella Toone goes from inside to out. A lovely bit of skill there to sell the defender a dream. And that lovely delivery, curling away from the Chinese goal just at the feet of Beth Mead.
England carving China's defence open. And they lead them by 2-0.
In the build-up to this, they played the USA, didn't they, back in May as well. And China really struggled to deal with any sort of combination playing in the wide areas and kind of really deal with any sort of crosses as well. So I imagine that this is going to be heavily featured in England's game plan this evening.
Yeah, China have lost every one of their last 6 games against the current top 5 nations, Spain, USA, Sweden, England, Germany, by an aggregate score of 21-3 ahead of this. And England currently leading by 2-0. And in terms of China and their approach to this game, as we hit the 15th minute mark, the quarter-hour mark here, they're playing very direct. Every time they get the ball, Karen, their target is number 20, Xiao Ji-chin, up top, but they don't really hold on to the ball, they just ping it long.
Yeah, and I think England have been punished like that in the past. I played against China in 2015 after the Women's World Cup, and we were a bit untidy on the ball, and they punished us for it. They shoot from distance, and their forward, Xiao Ji-chin, is going to be really isolated, and she's going to need some support underneath.
England coming forward again now. Ball slipped across, and it's a third. Lauren Hemp at the back post to poke it in. Once again, England having so much time and space in the wide areas. The Chinese defence cannot handle it. Ball slid across the face of goal, and Lauren Hemp applied the finishing touch. England 3, China 0.
Well, I was hoping it was going to be much of the same as it was against China in 2023 in the World Cup, and so far so good for England. But what a return for Lauren Hemp to get on the score sheet again. But the work down this side from Georgia Stanway, just to move on the inside, a little combination and then a quick switch to find Lauren Hemp in that space. Just, again, a lovely little shaped ball in behind the China back line, and they just cannot cope. But Georgia Stanway had a lot of work to do when she got in beyond the back line, and that delivery is just pristine for Lauren Hemp.
Yeah, it's a brilliant ball across, right in between the goalkeeper, just in front of the goalkeeper, just behind the defender. That corridor of uncertainty that it's sometimes described as.
The weight is perfect, isn't it?
Yeah, and lurking in that corridor was Lauren Hemp, trying to get us back underway, but just before they kicked off again, they had a little huddle. Really need to reorganise, and I think the back three isn't working, Karen Barty. They just don't know who to pick up from the England players.
I think that's safe to say, yeah. It's becoming a back five, back six at times. It's the movement in the midfield rotations as well, you know, in terms of the late runs coming from Georgia Stanway, you know, in between the fullbacks and the centre backs as well. They're just stretching them. The wingers are really struggling. The midfield is really struggling to track the wingers for England, and they just find themselves in so much space for England.
Here comes Lauren Hemp down the left-hand side up against Lee Mung-wen. Dispossessed, though, by a player plays for Glasgow Rangers. And England give it up a little cheaply just inside China's half. China with a rare moment of possession. Up to the left-hand side, cut out there by Lucy Bronze, and it's now at the feet of Georgia Stanway, who's having a very successful time at Bayern Munich, won the double last season with the German side, and again this season looking good for Bayern Munich. England coming forward down the left now. It's at the feet of Lauren Hemp, spins and goes back to Keira Walsh. England give up possession, and here is Xiao Ji Chin. She is robbed of the ball though, and England have it back with Lucy Bronze.
Xiao Ji Chin is just the source of everything at the minute for China, isn't she? She is their creative outlet, you know, in possession, and then obviously out of possession she's working her socks off, and she dispossessed Keira Walsh at that point in time as well. You know, so Keira Walsh just needs to keep checking her shoulders, move the ball a little bit more quickly. Stronger opposition can bump her off the ball as well. She'll be used to that from playing in Spain.
A long ball over the top for Alessia Russo to chase, but it's gathered by young Chinese goalkeeper Pan Hongyang. 19 minutes played, England 3, China 0. England very much enjoying themselves here at Wembley in front of a very big home crowd. As China come forward down the right-hand side. Good tackle by Niamh Charles, and Letitia plays a ball back to Anna Morehouse, the goalkeeper for England this evening, making her debut in the absence of Hannah Hampton. And
she'll be
Chiara
grateful
Keating.
for the touches tonight, won't she?
Yeah, she might be more of a spectator on her debut. And I wonder what that will be like. I wonder if she'll want to get on the ball more. I always wonder that about goalkeepers, Karen Barty, because obviously you want your team to be attacking and doing well, so you really don't want to be touching the ball, but you don't want to just not be involved.
No, you don't want to be a bystander, do you? You don't want to just be watching the game go by. You always want to be involved. You always want to make saves. You always want to be called into action, but yeah, the team is always first.
England in possession. They are leading China by 3 goals to 0. Another forward ball into the right-hand channel for Mead to latch onto. Her ball across, flicked out, lands at the feet of Lauren Hemp, who nearly curled the top bins, but it's just wide and off target behind for a China goal kick.
That's lovely though. That's all started from Keira Walsh, and a little ball into space down that right-hand side, and lovely ball in.
Goal kick then for China, who haven't really been able to create anything yet in this game. And those 3 England goals came in 3 minutes and 53 seconds. So those 3 minutes are the difference at the moment. England leading by 3 goals to 0 as the TV cameras in front of us show Hannah Hampton and Michelle Adjiman in the crowd. Crutches next to Michelle Adjiman, of course, who tore her ACL recently, which is such a devastating blow for her and for England as well. She was so brilliant in the Euros for England.
Yeah, she was, and you know, it's just been a spate of ACLs, and especially with a lot of these young players as well, the likes of Katie Reid as well. It's just so disappointing to see, so frustrating for a young player to have to go through that, but fortunately she's got, you know, the world ahead of her and at her feet, and she's just given the world a taste of what Michelle Adjiman can do, and so hopefully she comes through this an even better player.
Yeah, lots of time in the gym for her, I suspect, for the next year or so. England here out on the pitch, 21 minutes played. They're leading China by 3 goals to 0 in this friendly. Ball's at the back with Esme Morgan, England's centre half. She slides a centre ball up to Russo, couldn't quite get a toe to it. Rolls all the way through to Pan Hongyang, the Chinese goalkeeper who's been beaten 3 times already in this early first half. China looking very fragile at the back, and she fires it forward looking for Xiao Ji-chin. Won though by Le Tissier, and England will bring it back to Esme Morgan. Sarina Wiegman sitting down in the dugout, chasing her 50th win as England manager, as China have the ball, and Xiao Ji-chin nearly got past an England player and slithered her teammate on the left, but England managed to nick it back, and they've got it with their centre half Morgan, who trots forward and then goes for a diagonal ball out to the left looking for Lauren Hemp. There though is Lee Meng-wen. Hemp gets there ahead of her though and plays the ball in. It's a punch from the goalkeeper, a volley in, and England have a fourth. The punch looked pretty decent to start with, but it landed right at the feet of Georgia Stanway, who volleyed it brilliantly into the bottom corner. England 4, China 0.
And there we are with Lauren Hemp again down that left-hand side. She's fantastic in her 1v1 duels, isn't she, Flo? Because she's just quick, she's persistent, she never gives up. And what comes from it is she wins possession, puts a lovely ball into the area to find a composed feet of Georgia Stanway. And we said what good form she's been in. She just absolutely slams it home. And 4-0 already. Can you believe it? What a great finish from Georgia Stanway. The way she gets her shoulder over it, her head's over it, she makes great contact. Brilliant finish.
England are looking sharp and brilliant here at Wembley, but China are not at their level.
No, China are poor. China are really poor. I hate to say it, but you know, you have to talk about what's happening in front of you. But what I love is this ruthlessness that we're seeing from England. You know, they're finding those second phases, those spaces after the first contact, which have bypassed them in the past, you know, and they're arriving on time to strike it properly and put it on target. And that's all you can do. That's what you have to do with the opportunities that are in front of you.
England 4 goals up midway through this first half. All the 80,000 here in Wembley enjoying what they're seeing. And I wonder if, with the scoreline as it is, Sarina Wiegman might look to put on a couple of players to make their debuts in the second half. The likes of Anouk Denton, Grace Fisk, Freya Godfrey could all come on to make an England debut. They are all in the squad. England have it now though with Ella Toon. She lifts the ball goalwards, punched again by the Chinese goalkeeper, and then cleared by Wu Haiyan.
China are so deep. They're just inviting pressure on them all the time. You know, at first they're trying to stay high, and then that space is in behind, and then now they're dropping off because they can't handle, you know, the wave of attack that England are putting forward. And as a keeper, having to come through that amount of traffic, you want to, you know, take control in those types of situations. But if you can't clear that second line of pressure, you put your team in a lot of danger.
England 4, China 0 here on Sports Extra. 24 minutes played here at Wembley. The England drums on in the background. 80,000 here, but one fan that I can hear very loudly is Basil to the left of me. If you're not familiar with women's football and Chelsea, you won't know who Basil is. He goes to every Chelsea women's game dressed in all the Chelsea merch and is so loud and so proud, and I think the Chelsea players love him, and he's always at the England games, just to my left in an England shirt with a England bucket hat on. Do you know Basil, Karen Barnsley?
I don't know him personally.
Neither do I, to be honest. England coming forward. Here is Russo, knocks it back to Charles. Charles with the cross in. It's headed out by China. Only so far though as Stanway on the edge of the box. Back to Le Tissier. Waits for Russo to come and collect. Back with my Le Tissier.
Do you remember when we went to Belgium to watch England play, and I think that was when Adjeman came on at the last minute and scored that absolute worldie that got her on the plane to go to the Euros. And I'm pretty sure Basil was down there, absolutely causing a ruckus.
Yes, I remember Basil was there.
He gets around, that guy.
He really does. He loves Chelsea, he loves England, and he'll be enjoying his side being 4 goals up, as will 80 other thousand people in the stadium. Georgia Stanway now out by the corner flag, attacking for England. Back to Bronze, who bursts past 2 Chinese defenders, tries to flick it in the box and goes off a China player, caught by the Chinese goalkeeper. The flag up, I think, for offside, though, against Lucy Bronze. So a free kick for the Chinese in their own box. Or in fact, it's been given as a goal kick for them. Lucy Bronze can't quite believe it.
They're looking perturbed. Unsure if that actually did go out of play or not. But regardless, I think it's another opportunity, isn't it, to work on a press, in terms of Sarina Wiegman and her outcomes for this game.
England 4, China 0, 27 minutes played as Lucy Bronze doesn't quite get to that header. And that's well flicked on. China now coming forward down this left-hand side. It's number 10, Wang Yanwen. She plays it back. This is a rare moment where China are actually in the attacking third. Ball's hit towards the England penalty area and it falls at the feet of Niamh Charles, who helps it out to Lauren Hemp, who just flicks it past the defender, bursts away from her, slides it in now to Ella Toone, who helps it on forward to Russo, who's in behind as the flag up. We will see Russo going forward and the curling effort off the post, back to Beth Mead, who can't take the strike because up goes the offside flag. Russo was in an offside position, but that was a textbook Alessia Russo run there, off the back line, and then went for that curling shot. Keeper got a hand to it, hit the post, wouldn't have counted anyway because the offside flag was up.
Yeah, no, the Chinese backline just step at the right time, is well timed in fact from China, but in terms of the combination, again, it was Lauren Hemp dropping a bit deeper on that left-hand side, taking a beautiful touch to break the first line of pressure, a little combination with Georgia Stanway, and then they're off. So these are the types of things that I think, England will be looking to just, refine, I suppose, when they're moving forward at looking at qualifying for the World Cup, is those times of runs with high back lines.
China in possession in England's defensive third. Out it goes for a China throw midway inside the England half. England dominating the score, leading by 4-0. They've made 159 passes so far, England. China have made just 36 successful ones as they look to make another, but on that occasion win a corner. So a corner then for China.
There's a bit of a huddle going on just at the technical area with what looks like the Chinese manager and several of the players. So I imagine we probably will see some impending changes for China because they've really struggled to get into this game, and obviously leaking 4 goals in just under 30 minutes, not where you want to be.
No, very much so. And I wonder if we will see first half subs, which always feel a little pointed, but at the score 4-0 to England, and you've got to do what you've got to do as China put the ball in. It's off an England player and collected at the back post by Chen Chao-ju. Here she is again, plays a 1-2 with her teammate, has Beth Mead in front of her, and again goes all the way back to Wang Lin, who in turn goes all the way back to her goalkeeper as England players drift forward, and it's a really straight back 4 line, communicating well to make sure that they keep the Chinese attackers offside. It's back with China's goalkeeper, rolls the ball out in front of her and fires it out to the left to Chen Chao-ju. Knocks the ball off Lucy Bronze and wins a throw-in right on the halfway line, which she looks to take quickly into the feet of Wang Yanwen, and trying to go all the way back again.
Well, I do have to say England look very, very hungry in the way they're sort of moving together as a pack. They look like they're ready to pounce on any sort of mistake, forcing China into any sort of passing traps, and you can see that Beth Mead is quite happy to let the Chinese winger on her right-hand side get forward.
And that Chinese winner, Chen Chao-ju, tried to get forward on that occasion, but the ball over to her was a poor one, and it's a throw-in for England, taken by Lucy Bronze, who is making her 143rd appearance for England this evening. Now she's just 1 behind Karen Carney, and there's just 2 players ahead of her that have got more caps for England. Do you know who they are, Karen Bardsley?
Is it Farrah Williams and Jill Scott?
Oh, well done. Well done. Sorry, I put you on the spot there. Yeah, Farrah Williams is top.
Proud of my knowledge.
As you should be. Farrah Williams is top, 172 caps. Jill Scott, 161 caps. But Lucy Bronze might very well go ahead of those two who have obviously both retired from the England setup. Who knows how long Lucy Bronze will be playing. She might be playing in the 2035 World Cup hosted in the UK.
That'd be brilliant if she could last that long. I mean, listen, she's such a professional. She looks after herself and she's managing herself really well, living her best professional life. And listen, I think her legs will give out before her mentality does, because if it was up to her, she'd just continue to compete at this level as long as she possibly could. She's been such an impact on so many people, and it was a real privilege to play with her.
Well, Alex did give out in the Euros in the summer, but she carried on playing with that broken leg. England with a free kick then. Beth Mead over it from the left. Plenty of England players in the penalty area, and they're just standing in an offside position, but as Mead runs up to take it, they will just drop a shoulder to the left and try and stay onside. As the referee blows the whistle, here comes the ball in from Mead, and it's headed out at the back post. Breaks for Russo, his shot's blocked. Cleared out. A couple of half-hearted appeals for a penalty. There was a white-shirted player, an England player, down in the box, but I don't think anything came of it, and the referee happy to continue as England have a throw-in out by the halfway line. Serena Wiegman is out chatting to the fourth official about something. Lucy Bronze over to take the throw-in, isn't in a particular rush. We'll have a look on the monitor to see if there's anything that looked like a potential penalty in the box. Karen Bartley?
It looks like a bit of a coming together, but not a whole lot. I'm not sure if they're just kind of trying to delay this, but it's more from Alessia Russo's strike, if I'm being honest. It looks like Alessia Russo hits the volley into the hand of one of the Chinese defenders, and it's outstretched long enough to be away from the body and slightly unnatural, so we'll just have to wait and see.
So there is a pause here because VAR is in operation tonight and they're looking at it. Lucy Bronze has the ball in her hands. She momentarily sat on the ball while she was waiting. I had a football coach that was screamed at us if we sat on the ball. He was like, "You'll make it egg-shaped."
It turned it into a rugby ball.
We can't afford any more balls.
They are expensive.
We've already lost loads to the car park next door. So we're still waiting here. England leading by 4-0. 10 minutes till half-time on Sports Extra 2 as we wait for VAR.
Yeah, the ball's just kind of bouncing around in the box, and it looks like it's Lee Meng-Wen that looks to go and close that angle of Alessia Russo, and as she does so, looks like her left arm is slightly up and away from her body. So I imagine this could potentially be given, but strange that it's taken so long.
Handball, such a contentious topic, and there are different iterations of the rule in different competitions. This is an international friendly, of course. I think Serena Wiegman's certain that her side should have a penalty. Still we wait, the crowd's getting a little restless.
Do you think if this penalty is given, is it going to be Georgia Stanway, the usual taker, or could it potentially be Beth Mead? She'd be on a hat trick if she scores that.
Very true. And the referee has done the universal sign for VAR, and she's going to go over and have a look at the monitor, and the monitor has just zoomed up and appeared from behind the advertising hoarding so she can have a look at it. Top level technology here at Wembley Stadium.
No expense spared.
Yeah. Just automatically zoomed up the monitor as if it had been called. And she's having a look at it now, our Romanian referee, Alina Peșu. I suspect if she's looking at it, it's probably going to be given as a penalty. We're watching it on our replay screen. It does strike the arm. It does look a little harsh. It also kind of touches her body.
Yeah, it's in between. It's kind of her torso, and when it hits her, it hits it
and in fact
upwards
it
into
touches,
the outstretched arm.
Looking at the replay again now, and we're seeing what she's seeing on the VAR screen, it hits her torso first and then her hand, which usually means that it won't be given as a penalty because it's hit her body first.
Oh, we could talk about this for ages, but her hand is in a completely unnatural position.
Penalty. The referee points to the spot, and it is a penalty for handball from that free kick, and England have a chance to make it 5. And who will it be? That is the question. Will it be Beth Mead to make it a hat-trick? She scored a hat-trick at Wembley already, Beth Mead. Or will it be England's standard penalty taker, Georgia Stanway, who's also on the score sheet already, and it's looking like it's going to be Stanway who strides over puts the ball on the spot, and she has taken 12 penalties for England and scored all 12 of them. So she is very confident from the spot. It didn't take any in the shootouts in the summer, though. It was off the pitch before we got to that stage, which was a little annoying for England. So Georgia Stanway then, from the spot, after a handball in the penalty area, up against Pan Hon Yang, the Chinese goalkeeper. There is the whistle. She looks calm, hands on her hips, and she fires it in, and England have a fifth. Georgia Stanway, indomitable from the penalty spot. As always, players go over to hug her. Her second goal, England's fifth, England 5, China 0.
So composed from Georgia Stanway. She went through a process in her mind. She was prepared to take it at her own pace, and I think that's what makes her so efficient at converting these penalties. Bit of disguise, keeps the hips open a bit longer, which just suggests that she's going to go to the opposite side, to that left-hand side of the goalkeeper. Georgia Stanway is right, and she just slots it home. It's like she's done it in her sleep. She's done it a million times over and over and over.
England thriving and China struggling. England 5, China 0. The Chinese players come together, a little huddle again to try and hash out what they're going to do. We've got 7 minutes to go till half time. I suspect we'll see some changes at the break from their manager Ante Milicic as they get the game back underway. Has been all England.
Yeah, I mean, China just really can't seem to cope at the minute with the movement from the midfield in particular. You just see the forwards trying to drop in a little bit, but they're just being overrun, China, with essentially 2 in the midfield as well. And they just can't cope. The back 4 don't know whether to step out. The back 5 don't know whether to stay as a 3 or go forward as a go forward as a 3, and it's just disjointed and kind of all over the show, to be honest.
China in possession in the centre circle, though, with Wang Yanwen. It's back with their centre back. She fires a forward ball that is helped out to the right hand side. There's a flag up, though, for offside. Free kick for England as a Mexican wave moves around Wembley Stadium. The England fans here enjoying themselves. Their side 5-0 up, not too much jeopardy, so they can just enjoy the evening.
Yeah, and I think in some ways, I think a lot of people would probably be questioning, what the purpose of a game like this is. You would expect this China side to be a little bit more, difficult to play against, but that is just how good England are as well. But there's so many things that you can learn, I think, as a manager and as a player in situations like this. But essentially, it's about good vibes, isn't it, for the fans?
Very much so, and they're enjoying the good vibes. And there's Letitia has the ball midway inside China's half. All the players in the Chinese half, except for Anna Morehouse, England's goalkeeper, who's midway inside her own half, watching on this her England debut. She'll be keen to get a clean sheet and yet to really be tested at all. I don't think she's had to make a save yet as England knock it forward for Niamh Charles. Her ball across, cleared at the back post before it could reach Beth Mead. Letitia does help it to Beth Mead on the corner of the box. Sliding challenge, and it's back with Lucy Bronze. She tries to get away from her defender, does so. Puts in a good delivery, cleared by China's captain, Wu Hai Yang. Out for an England throw-in, level with the penalty area. Elsewhere in the Premier League, it's Everton 0, Newcastle 2. 5:30 kickoff there as well, and Scottish Premiership, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 0. That was at 5:45 kickoff. Full day of Premier League action tomorrow on 5 Live as well. Join Steve Crossman and co from midday for build up to the games. Then at 2 p.m. live coverage of West Ham against struggling Liverpool, and 4:30 the second commentary of the day is Chelsea against leaders Arsenal. More live sport than ever before on BBC Sounds. To see what's on, just scroll through the live radio dial at the top of the BBC Sounds app and tap on Sports Extra 2, Sports Extra 3 or 5 Live or 5 Live Sports Extra. 4 minutes to go here at Wembley till half time. England 5, China 0. England enjoying themselves in this international friendly in front of a big expectant crowd here at Wembley. China with the throw-in. Chen Chaoju down the line, and up goes flag for a foul throw. The referee motioning with her hands that that's what it was given for, and when you can't hold on to the ball and you're not doing well, you can't be giving foul throws away.
Yeah, no, the quality's sort of just really dropped from this game a little bit, and you can imagine conceding 5 goals in the first half. It must be a frustrating game state to play in for China, but you know, the quality can't be that low. It has to improve. But we've seen them ball watch. When the ball goes out wide, they just haven't been switched on.
Here come England again. Ball played across the face of goal, saved by Pan Hongyan. Flag up for offside though. Free kick then for China in their own penalty area. And China will just be keen to get to half-time now, or perhaps not. Don't know if their manager's one of those shouty managers or if he's a calm head.
Yeah, I don't think shouting is obviously gonna fix anything from a coaching perspective as well. When you go in there, you know, you just have to get your team to kind of reset, refocus, and just try to find a way to find a positive out of the second half, because I'll be honest, there haven't been much positives in this first half for China. Been loads for England, but yeah, not too much for China.
And not too much for England's back four to do either, and it's quite a changed back four. Charles, Morgan, Letitia and Bronze. 2 centre-backs arguably aren't England's first choice when all players are fit. That would be Williamson, Greenwood or Jess Carter. As England come forward now with Russo. Back heels it to Mead. Her in-swinging ball towards the back post will stay in just about, and Hemp keeps it in, but flag up against Hemp for offside. So another little tight offside call. And you mentioned it earlier, Karen Bardsley, but this is quite a good opportunity, as you said, to practice those attacks. It's kind of like attack versus defence, really, and England have been caught offside a couple of times, so it's a chance to test those different runs, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's the timing of dealing with a moving back line, isn't it? So understanding if you need to start a bit deeper, if the runs need to come from the midfield as opposed to perhaps the striker, or if the striker run is sort of a decoy, you know, and it's just working those little connections out. You know, Serena Wiegmann's always talking about those connections with players, isn't she? And it's just always an opportunity to do that. But yeah, I imagine the likes of Leslie Russo will probably come off at halftime to give, you know, someone perhaps like Agatha Beever-Jones or, you know, several of the other potential debutantes an opportunity to play.
And I suspect those players on the bench will be chomping at the bit to come on, because there's goals in this game. And every player wants to score a goal for England, especially on their debut. And there are some debutants on there. Freya Godfrey, attacking player, as the fourth official puts up the board for 2 minutes. Stoppage time as England come forward again. Cleared out for a corner by Du Jiang-Chin. Corner then for England at the end of this first half.
Yeah, they'll be keen to get this ball in play and just kind of look to capitalise on the opportunities they've had to score, haven't they?
Variation on the corner, it's taken short, and then it's put goalwards by Hemp and caught by Pan Hongyan, the goalkeeper for China. She was in goal for their last match against Japan.
It's been a struggle for the Chinese goalkeeping department of late, hasn't it? You know, looking back to the World Cup, you know, conceding 6 goals and not the most tremendous fashion as well. I think there were some mistakes there as well. So it looks like it's been a particular area of focus that China really tried to work on. And obviously, Pan Hongyan is a young goalkeeper herself, isn't she? So she's just kind of finding her feet.
Yeah, and in her defence, she's not really been helped by her defence. I'm not sure you could blame her for any of the goals, actually. They were all very good finishes and situations where her defenders allowed the forwards to take the strike rather than her making a mistake. China have possession. They're out on that right-hand side in England's half. Ball's right on the line. It's then played forward and cut out by Morgan, but it breaks awkwardly. And Morgan has to poke it behind for a corner for China in the final 30 seconds of this first half.
Yeah, and they're direct, China, aren't they? They'll put balls into the area, and, you know, Esme Morgan just kind of I don't know if she just kind of gets in two minds about how she's going to clear that or where she's going to put it, but quick pressure from China and little ricochet, and then now they've got a corner. So switched on. They haven't had to deal with much defensively. How they deal with that will be important, especially this close to the end of the first half.
Some of the fans have already gone out to get their half-time pie and pint. As the China corner comes in, it's a flat delivery and headed goalwards, hooked away. Will be collected though by Chen Chi Chow, puts the ball in. That's headed clear by Kira Walsh, all the way out to the halfway line, and there is the half-time whistle from our referee. Then a big round of applause from all the England fans here in the stadium. It's been a comfortable and celebratory half really for England. They lead by 5-0, 2 for Beth Mead, the goal for Lauren Hemp, Georgia Stanway with 1 from open play and 1 from the penalty spot. England looking very good, China not so much, Karen Bardsman.
Yeah, no, it's poor from China, but, you know, very, very good in terms of a homecoming from England. The fans will be pleased with lots of goals, and, you know, they love seeing their Lionesses play, don't they? They love seeing loads of goals, and a great debut first half from Anna Morehouse she can be really pleased with in terms of a clean sheet and in front of 80,000 people. So, yeah, lots of positives to take away in terms of the scoreline, but hopefully, you know, in terms of a competitive match, we can see China look to tighten things up a little bit defensively because they've been poor.
Half-time here at Wembley, England 5, China 0. Second half coverage to come. For now, let's join 5 Live.
Poor defensive performance from them, but you've got to give this Newcastle side a lot of credit, the way that they've played away from home this season. You certainly haven't seen a performance like that coming. A change of personnel, a slight change of shape from Eddie Howe today. They've looked dangerous, they've looked decisive, and they've taken their opportunities when they've come, and they've put themselves in a superb position to go on and get all 3 points, having scored 3 by the time the half-time whistle's blown.
Newcastle yet to win in the Premier League away from home this season are on course. Only Brentford have dropped more points from winning positions this season than the Magpies. It'll be a tough ask for Everton to extend that Newcastle record. At the break mark, Everton 0, Newcastle 3.
Yeah, dominant for Newcastle at Everton, dominant for England at Wembley. Katie Smith.
England 5, China 0. England have been excellent. The fans are loving it, but China have been really poor. And you do wonder what Sarina Wiegman's learning from this. The first 3 goals, 2 for Mead, 1 for Hem, came in the space of 3 minutes and 53 seconds. England then waited a whole 7 minutes before adding a 4th. That came from Stanway, drilling in at the far post. She added another from the spot. It was a penalty awarded by VAR for a handball. So Anna Morehouse, making her debut in goal today, has quite literally had nothing to do. So surely we'll see plenty of changes from Wiegman in the second half. She's got a chance to test out a lot of new faces sitting on the England bench. At half-time, England 5, China 0.
Earlier in the Premier League, Brentford beat Burnley 3-1. Manchester City were 2-0 up at home to Leeds at half-time. Leeds came back to make it 2-2, but a late Phil Foden goal gave Pep Guardiola's side the win. Sunderland came from 2-0 down at home to Bournemouth to win that 3-2. In the Championship, Coventry remained 10 points clear at the top. They beat Charlton. Middlesbrough beat Derby. Stoke dropped down a couple of places. They were beaten at home by Hull. One other big story, Norwich get their first home win of the season. They beat QPR by 3-1. Cardiff are the new leaders of League One. They beat Mansfield 3-0. Stevenage, the morning leaders, could only draw 0-0 at Wigan. Walsall stay top of League Two after a 3-1 win over Bromley. In the Scottish Premiership, Hearts were held, so that's 3 games without a win now. They drew 0-0 at Motherwell. In the National League, the big 4 at the top all won. So that's Rochdale and York and Forest Green Rovers and Carlisle. All of them were winners today. I didn't give you the Northern Irish Premiership at earlier on, the full time. So they are as follows: Crusaders 0, Coleraine 2, Dungannon 1, Larne 2, Glenarvan 3, Ballymena 1, Linfield 3, Carrick Rangers 1, Portadown 2, Cliftonville 3. Oscar Piastri won the sprint race earlier in Qatar. At the moment, it's qualifying for the race tomorrow. Jenny Gow.
Thank you, yes. And all eyes are on the championship title, which could be sewn up tomorrow with Lando Norris winning. That would be enough to seal his first ever world title for McLaren. But first, it's a small matter as qualifying, as you said. And Norris tips the tables for Q1 ahead of Piastri. Verstappen also up there and looking a bit more improved than he did in the sprint earlier on, but those out include Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari's rows continue to elude the form, but when it comes to McLaren. They are back on top. Norris first, Piastri second.
Let's go to the snooker next. First day of the UK Championship. Judd Trump through to the last 16, Jamie.
Yeah, the defending champion Judd Trump beat Stephen Maguire by 6 frames to 4. The sellout crowd saw 2 centuries plus 6 of the breaks over 50 in what was an entertaining match. This season, Trump has been trying out a new cue, but today he reverted back to using his old cue, the one with which he's won multiple tournaments. But why did the world number one want to experiment with a new cue?
I just felt like sometimes under pressure, I just don't have full confidence in the cue. So I hate changing cues and stuff like that. For me, it's last resort. If something's not broke, then don't fix it. So if I'm winning tournaments, I just felt like I needed some of the heavier conditions, some more consistency and maybe some more power.
Judd Trump will now play Si Jiahui in the last 16 after the Chinese star hammered Ryan Day 6-0.
In the Scottish Cup, a couple of the big headlines were wins for non-league Auchinleck Talbot and Camelon Juniors against sides in League 2. St Johnstone, the championship leaders, went out to Cove Rangers of League 1. In the Rugby Union, South Africa thrashed Wales 73-0 at the Principality Stadium. In the Gallagher Prem, Gloucester beat Quins 26-15. Nearly at half-time in the other game, and Bristol lead Northampton by 28 points to 0. In the Women's Premiership, Sale and Exeter drew 26 all. There were convincing wins for Loughborough and Saracens over Leicester and Trailfinders respectively. Lions and Cardiff have won in the United Rugby Championship. Half-time in 2 games, Edinburgh 5, Ospreys 5 and Munster 21, Stormers 6. And the former champion hurdle Constitution Hill fell once again as Golden Ace came through to win the Fighting Fifth hurdle at Newcastle. Panic Attack won the Coral Gold Cup at Newbury. We'll bring you some reaction to the day's Premier League football before we return to Everton, who are 3-0 down at home to Newcastle, after the latest BBC News at 24 minutes past 6.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live. The award-winning playwright Sir Tom Stoppard has died at the age of 88. His family says he died peacefully at home in Dorset. President Trump says the airspace above and around Venezuela should be considered completely closed. In a message on social media, he said the warning was aimed at airlines, pilots, drug dealers and human traffickers. Torrential rains have triggered floods and landslides across parts of southern Asia, killing around 600 people. Monsoon rain exacerbated by tropical storms caused some of the region's worst flooding in years, with millions affected in Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand and Sri Lanka. And Zara Sultana is accused leading figures in the new party she's founding with Jeremy Corbyn of carrying out a witch hunt to purge left-wing activists. Sultana boycotted the first day of the Your Party conference after several members who also belong to the Socialist Workers' Party were expelled.
BBC iPlayer is the home of EastEnders.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
You can watch whenever you want, with new episodes landing at 6 a.m.
All this entertainment, eh? Must be my lucky day.
The best way to watch EastEnders. BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's bring you some reaction to the day's Premier League football then. Manchester City were 2-0 up at home to Leeds. Leeds got it back to 2-2. Phil Foden got a late winner. City goes second. Here's Ruben Diaz.
At the end of the day, obviously, we're not happy with the beginning of the second half. These kind of mistakes, they can cost us heavily, but still, we faced the situation. We kept on fighting. We had obviously the goal from Phil. We had a clear chance from Omar just before, and I'm proud of the way the team kept on fighting. Even Ryan, the way he came on, wanting to help us and finish the game. I really appreciate everyone's effort. Yeah.
So after a couple of results which have gone against you, what does it say about the character in the dressing room that eventually you find a way to win this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think essentially it just means that we need to play one game at a time. One game at a time, one game at a time, one game at a time. And whenever we try and deviate from that, it causes problems. So we need to play one game at a time. And that's the message. That has to be our core. That has to be the only thing in our minds, and period, nothing else. Just next game and period. There's nothing else after that.
Is that sometimes hard, though, when everyone else is talking about, Manchester City are closing the gap on Arsenal with a win today?
I feel like that's the challenge. That's where we need to be professional and be able to avoid the noise from outside.
Ruben Dias with Gary Flintoff. Leeds have now lost 5 of their last 7 in the league. Here's Daniel Farke.
Disappointed because we came here in order to win points. Not for compliments, not for warm words. We wanted points, so the overriding feeling is disappointment. But of course, the lads should be proud of themselves. So after the worst possible start into this game, if you concede here at the Etihad in the first minute, normally it's a long afternoon, and then so we concede out of a set piece. If you want to travel away with points, normally you have to win the set piece scoreline. It was the worst possible scenario in the first half, but we showed great character, great resilience, great passion, and also great quality in the second half. Fully deserved to equalise the game. It was an open game in the last 10 minutes. Both teams could have won it. They had the better end for that. It's disappointing for us, but the boys should be really proud of it.
Sunderland came from 2 down to beat Bournemouth 3-2 at the Stadium of Light. They're now back into the top 4 on 22 points. Here's Sunderland's Régis Le Bris.
To be fair, I think we started well, especially with the ball. We felt that they were strong on their left side, so as expected. But the game was balanced. We made 2 mistakes, and this league is so demanding that if you make 2 mistakes, you can be punished with 2 goals, and it was the case. So a bit hard at that moment. But we didn't feel that we were far from the level, so probably the players were aware of the situation as well, and then now just 1 goal can change the dynamic, and it happened with this penalty.
What does it say about your side that you've come from 2-0 down to win 3-2, helped by the crowd clearly, but you must as a head coach be so proud of your team to be able to do that?
Yeah, it's a big achievement, especially in this league. It shows the character, it shows the consistency of the tactical model and the depth of the squad as well, because our finishers were really important, and the connection with our crowd is crucial. We know that to be efficient in this league we need this extra drive, and it was the case today.
Igor Thiago got 2 for Brentford, including a penalty as they beat Burnley 3-1. Here's Keith Andrews.
I thought it'd be a game of patience. You look at their results and the way they've played this season. I think they're such a well-drilled team. It was always going to be a game for us today that we had to keep doing the basics really well, not get frustrated, because we've no divine right to win football games. You've got to earn it, and in the end I thought we did earn it.
And what about Igor Thiago? Some mental strength he had to show for that penalty?
Yeah, listen, he's shown a lot of mental strength full stop to get to this point in his career, so again, it doesn't really surprise me. First half I thought he could have and should have imposed himself on the game a little bit more. Some of that was down to the service. I think it's fair to say in the second half he certainly did that.
I mean, what an impact he's had on the Premier League. Has it surprised you?
I knew he'd have an impact, but in terms of what he is as a centre forward and the attributes, you never quite know, because he's been out for so long, and then before that he was playing in Bulgaria and in Belgium, so it's a huge trajectory for his career, but he settled so well, and last season being injured and how he integrated into the group and the culture of the football club, I think that's what made it easier for him this season. He's worked so hard to get to this point. He loves it here. It's a big part, obviously, of what we do. So am I surprised? Probably a little bit, because it's not easy to do what he's done. It's not the norm, I suppose.
Keith Andrews with John Southall. Tomorrow afternoon on Premier League Sunday, Chelsea-Arsenal at 4:30, West Ham-Liverpool at 2:05. Alistair Bruce Ball will be your commentator at the London Stadium after he's got through 6:06.
Good evening, Mark. Yeah, just on Brentford there and Keith Andrews. I look at the Premier League table tonight. They're sitting in 8th, 3 points off the top 4. Igor Thiago on 11 goals. We don't hear from that many Brentford fans on 6:06, so why not give us a call tonight? 08085 909 693. Has your club surprised you this season? Has Keith Andrews surprised you? Did you think it was going to go this way? Has Thiago surprised you? Listen to Chris Sutton. He was sitting there, wasn't he? Busy boy this afternoon. Good second half at the Etihad Stadium. Love to hear from the Leeds fans, because I heard Chris Sutton and Rob Green going at it, Mark, earlier in the show on the job Daniel Farke has done so far. And Chris very much sticking up for Farke, wasn't he, in terms of the resources he's had available to him as a Premier League manager. So I'd love to know where the Leeds fans stand on that one. Daniel Farke made the changes at half-time. Leeds got back in the game, gave Manchester City a real run for their money. I think from City fans, I'd like to know, what did you make of that?
Welcome back then to Wembley Stadium. England currently leading China in this international friendly by 5-0. The England players are out, and looks like Sarina Wiegman is about to make 3 changes at half-time, or the China players coming out as well. I can see a single change for them. So coming on for England, then I can see Chloe Kelly, Lotte Wubben-Moy, and I didn't recognise her because she had her hair down, but she's just tied it up. Jess Park. They are coming on for Esme Morgan, Beth Mead and Lauren Hemp. So they are the 3 changes then for England. Alongside me, Karen Bartley again for this second half. So no debutantes, but good to see Wubben-Moy getting some minutes.
Yeah, not just yet. I think we probably will see more as the game continues. But, you know, for Lotte Wubben-Moy, she's been in and out of that Arsenal squad, but she's always been steadfast in this England squad in terms of just being a constant. You know, she hasn't had a lot of minutes more recently, but she's just there. She loves wearing an England shirt, and she's such a great team player that she certainly deserves these minutes. So yeah, it's great to see her get back out on that pitch.
As for China, they are bringing on number 19, Yang Lin Yan. Had a brief spell at Spurs, on loan from Wuhan. So she comes on to replace Wurugumula. So one forward player off for another. China trailing England here by 5-0. It's been a 5-star first half performance for England here under the arch at Wembley. It'll be China that are getting us back underway. All the England players ready. Chloe Kelly back on for England with the yellow headband holding her hair back. Such an iconic player for the Lionesses. As China get us back underway, then 3 changes for England, 1 for the Chinese, and hoping for a more competitive second half. Karen Bartley.
Certainly needs to be. Yeah, certainly China needs to up the quality, need to try to just get a bit more advanced up the pitch. I think their more forward players need to do a better job at holding the ball up and just being able to progress themselves up the pitch, because it was far, far too easy for the England defenders, and I think the likes of, especially Lotte Wubben-Moy, would like a test.
China in possession here. Goes up to the substitute that's just come on, Yang Lin Yan. And China fire it forward up to number 10, Wang Yanwen. China in possession. England in control of this match by 5-0. And Karen Bartley, is this really helpful for England to be playing a game that's so one-sided? What are they getting out of it? Is it a bit of a missed opportunity for Wiegman to rotate?
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on that a little bit at the end of the first half there. Like, what is it that they really get out of it? What's the point of these types of games? And, you know, it is a chance to see new faces. It is an opportunity to try a few new tweaks in terms of the connections between players and tactics. But I'll hand over to you, Flo.
Because China are coming forward down the left with a player that's brought on. She whips the ball in. It's nodded out by Walsh. Headed back, and she makes the secondary clearance. Now it's with Ella Toon, who helps it back to Jess Park over there, who prods it all the way back to Lucy Bronze. And let's talk about Jess Park. What a season she's having at Manchester United.
Yeah, no, she's been brilliant, hasn't she? It's great to see her get back on the pitch, and I think, you know, she's been one of the signings of the year, if you will, you know, in that little deal with City and United. And, you know, she just wasn't quite getting, I think, enough consistent playing time at City, and she's just slotted right in, become a fan favourite at Manchester United. And, you know, boy, has she been effective since she's joined as well.
Just found the ball in the lines, plays it through to Russo out on the right hand side. England players getting into the penalty area. Russo driving goalwards, and the offside flag up again against Russo. A couple of times she's been caught offside. But yeah, Jess Park, 4 goals so far for Manchester United. Formed a really good partnership with Ella Toon there, which is very helpful for England. She's out there in bright orange boots that look like highlighters, and she just looks like a Manchester United player. She's a bit of a maverick. She's got a bit of swagger, you know. She is
Manchester
United player.
She is brilliant. Like the way she kind of drifts off from the outside to in as well. You know, she kind of picks up these beautiful spaces in between the units, in between the lines. She's so determined. Every time she receives the ball, she likes to drive forward with it as well. And she's obviously adding goals for them from the midfield. But it's her assist as well. You know, she's complementing the creation as well at United. So I think that was certainly a good move for them.
England win a free kick. in this second half. 3 minutes into the second period. England 5, China 0 on Sports Extra 2. This international friendly. There's another England game on Tuesday at St Mary's as England play Ghana to complete the continental friendlies that they've been having. Australia, Brazil before this. China and Ghana. I think Australia and Brazil putting up firmer, harder tests, although Australia perhaps less so after they got that player sent off. But Brazil beat England. Big learning moment for England as we have the ball with Niamh Charles on the left. Pokes it in field to Toon. Nice little give and go. It's broken back to Ella Toon on the edge of the penalty area. Lifts up to shoot. Instead went for the cross to Park. Her Manchester United teammate comes back to Lucy Bronze. Plays it in field to Keira Walsh. Captaining England this evening. She finds Jess Park out on that right hand side. Brilliant ball forward into Bronze in the penalty area. Looks for the cutback. And China get it clear. And they look to their big centre forward, Chao Ji-chin. She can't hold it up though. Letitia wins it back. Tell you what else I like about Jess Park. She's got those bright orange boots on. So easy to spot as a commentator, Karen Bardstow.
Well, I just thought it was her swag, that it makes her just so easy. She stands out, just the way she carries the ball, the confidence that she has as she moves and floats across the pitch. But
no, there's those silly boots. China coming over the halfway line. It slid out into the substitute Zhang Lingyan out on the left hand side. Just looked a little impactful since coming on. Got a burst of pace, a sharpness about her ball in. It's headed clear, and then Kelly nods it back to Niamh Charles.
I'm keen to see this link up between Chloe Kelly and Alessia Russo. I think that's been more effective in the latter stages of Arsenal's more recent performances, particularly against Real Madrid in the Champions League. I thought they linked up really, really nicely. And Alessia Russo was in such good form. Got that brace, didn't she, to really secure some points in a crucial stage.
Yeah, very much so. 8 goals in all competitions for Alessia Russo this season at Arsenal. The Gunners might not be having a great campaign, but Alessia Russo certainly is. And as you said, Kelly got one of the assists for Russo in that game against Real Madrid, the 2-1 win for Arsenal. You always want that club connection. A lot of Arsenal, Chelsea players out there as well. Fewer Chelsea players than usual. No, I say that and then I see Keira Walsh, Lucy Bronze, Niamh Charles, and I'll maybe shut up, Karen Bardstow.
Well, considering they all used to be at Barcelona together as well, it's just a more recent move, I suppose, especially for Keira.
That's what it is. 5 minutes into the second half. England 5, China 0. Ella Toon slides it out to Charles on the left. Charles not under pressure, slides it into Russo on the edge of the box, back to goal. Back out to Chloe Kelly. Plays the ball back to the back post looking for Jess Park. Cries of shoot as it fell on the edge of the box for Walsh.
She had her shooting boots on in the warm-up, that's for sure.
Here is Jess Park with those orange boots. Tricky footwork, slides it back to Bronze. Forward pass in field. Here's Ella Toon, slides it through to England. Georgia Stanway who finishes it off. Brilliant England attacking move. Lots of wonderful little passes in and around the penalty area. Finished off by Stanway. England have a 6th, and Stanway has a hat-trick.
What a lovely team goal that was. Loads of little interchanges, as you said, Flo. Lots of little intricate combinations in and around the area. But again, a lovely, fantastic, composed finish from Georgia Stanway. Just slots it down the opposite side. The Chinese goalkeeper just hits the inside of that side netting, but comes from Lucy Bronze and those combinations in those central areas. Just quick movement off the ball that China just can't cope with that movement off the ball. Really good little pocket of play there in between the fullback and the centre backs from Georgia Stanway. Manages to get the ball at her feet, digs it out, just slots it home.
European champions England leading China by 6 goals to 0 this second half. Has got underway as the first did, with England controlling the game. And one thing that I have noticed, Karen Bardstow, in the first half and in the second half as well, is the China players are just sitting off England. They've got all the time in the world to get it onto their right, move it onto their left. Oh, maybe I'll whip it in, maybe I'll have a shot. There's just no pressure.
No,
from
you're
them.
absolutely right. It's almost just zonal, really, and especially in the midfield. It's like they're trying to block passing lanes, but they're just not doing it properly. failing to check their shoulders, and the likes of Alessia Russo getting in and in and in.
Who's in behind again here. Russo cuts it back looking for Toon. Cleared by China, will be collected as it rolls away towards this near side where we're standing by Charles. She finds Woo Ben Moy, who has 2 Euros medals in the squad for both the 2022 and the most recent Euros. Didn't actually play a minute at either of those European Championships, but was a wonderful squad player. Seems like a player that really has a wise head on her shoulders, and that must be difficult, Karen Barsi, to not play a minute.
Yeah, no, it is frustrating, and it just speaks to her and her character and her personality that she keeps getting picked, regardless of whether she's getting minutes for England. And especially when you're away for such long periods of time in these major tournaments, you have to keep that positive energy up, you have to keep the morale up, and she's a pivotal player when it comes to that.
And there are some players that if they weren't getting played, well, they might just leave the setup.
Yeah, unfortunately that has happened in the past, and like I said, it just speaks to the type of person that Lotte Woo Ben Moy is, and the fact that Sarina Wiegman really values the type of environment that she creates.
You need those squad players. You need players that aren't always starting. As China come forward now, the small figure of Lin Yang into the box, wins the corner, and she's made a difference, number 19, the substitute that's come on.
Yeah, she's been lively, hasn't she? She's been able to just move a little bit more, provide a few more passing options, apply a little bit more pressure to England's defence, and try to close the spaces and force mistakes. And I do think perhaps set pieces will be China's best opportunity for a clear look on target.
Set piece will be taken by Wang Aifang, who puts one hand up in the air and plays the ball towards the penalty spot, headed out by an England player and hit back goalwards, and out for another corner for China from the other side. 10 minutes into this second period, England 6, China 0, and Anna Moorhouse in goal for England this evening. This her debut for the 30-year-old. Hasn't had to make a save. She's touched the ball a couple of times with her feet. Might she be tested a little more in this second period?
Yeah, a lot of this will just be focusing on your organisation, your presence in goal. The ball comes into your area, can you make the first contacts? Can you catch if necessary? And obviously take the pressure off your defence. But she's great in the air.
Same player that took the corner from the other side. Hits it in low this time and cleared by Stanway. Ball put in again, and a shout for a free kick for England. It was a push on Lucy Bronze as she tried to make the clearance. So free kick for England inside their own penalty box. Reminder, next for England on Tuesday they've got Ghana in Southampton, and then England know the teams that they have to play in the European qualifiers for the 2027 World Cup. It's Spain, Iceland and Ukraine. Those games will be between March and June. Spain obviously the box office fixture there, but England fans will do well to not underestimate Ukraine and Iceland. England men's side of course lost to Iceland in the 2016 Euros. That cost Roy Hodgson his job. I still have memories of that horrible slow clap they did as they beat us.
That thunderclap, that was awful, wasn't it?
Horrible. China on the attack, ball put into the England penalty area, chested out by Kira Walsh. A little bit of a better spell this for China, but England hook it away looking for Russo. Collected by Jess Park midway inside England's half. Untidy passage of play. China get it back out on the left. Ball swung into the penalty area. Letitia clears, but it's more up than out. Here is the substitute who fires it goalwards and didn't quite catch it. Initially, it was a brilliant touch and well brought down by Jiang Lin Yan, but the effort was a poor one, and Anna Moorhouse just watched it sail over the bar.
Yeah, it was miles. It was on its way back to the Hilton, I think, that one. But yeah, Jiang Lin Yan's done really well, which she's come on. She's quick, got some pace, changed direction, nice agility there, but she'll be disappointed with the way that she caught that ball. But yeah, it looks like there's a lot of space emerging between the defence and the attack for England. They're leaving players forward just because they know that China haven't really been causing any threats. And I think when that space gets too big, it's difficult to build through the midfield because the distances are just massive. So that just needs to be looked at in terms of rotation, I think.
England play the ball through the centre of the pitch to Ella Toone. She waits for the defender to come, checks back, plays it into the path of Charles. Back with Ella Toone now, and Bronze has made the run down the right. Toone's ball doesn't pick her out. Instead, it will be latched onto by Zhang Lin Yang, the bright-looking Chinese substitute that's come on and been China's best player by some way. But England win it back. Kira Walsh now finds Lucy Bronze, and here is Letitia out to the England left back, Niamh Charles, player that's got a decent number of caps for England, 30. Scored her penalty in the Euros final.
I bumped into her dad in the airport actually after the tournament. He was just picking up his bags, and I asked him how he felt, when he saw that Niamh was going to go and take that penalty, and he was just like, we were nervous, we knew she would score, but just couldn't bear to watch. And I think the way she absolutely thumped it was pretty awesome in terms of how much she had been involved in that particular moment as well, and in terms of the build up to it. But yeah, really confident penalty, and that was really fun to see for me.
People obviously talk about the Chloe Kelly winning penalty because it's the winner and it was taken so emphatically and in such dramatic fashion, but got to give credit to the other players that scored their earlier ones, and Niamh Charles was one of them. 60 minutes played then. We've hit the hour mark. England have 6 goals to show for it. Live Premier League action at the moment on 5 Live, and a little update, it's Everton 0, Newcastle 4. That kicked off the same time as this game, 5:30. And in the Scottish Premiership, Kilmarnock are beating Dundee United by 0-0. It's half time there. Full coverage of lots of Premier League games tomorrow, including the West Ham Liverpool game at 2 p.m. and Chelsea Arsenal at 4:30 as England come forward down the right hand side. The ball across from Rousseau, cut out by a Chinese player. Cries of shoot again as Walsh finds herself with the ball on the edge of the box. Instead she goes back to Wubben-Moy, spreads it out to Charles into the channel for Kelly. It's overhit. Kelly won't bother running for that, and it goes out for a goal kick.
And Leslie Rousseau's just got her head in her hands then. I think she realised that perhaps she didn't quite make the contact she was hoping for with that little cutback, because the numbers were there, they were in the area, but I am still a little bit surprised. I know that this is a big headline game. The fans have come out to watch it in terms of they want to see their favourites, but we talk about players and their loading and things like that. Could some of these players benefit from a rest?
As Rousseau's played in again, but out comes Pan Hon Yang, the Chinese goalkeeper, to claim it. Rousseau yet to get on the score sheet today, with England already having 6 goals, but she's been a key part of a lot of the England attacks, and that's something that she often does as well. She works so hard. Isn't always the goal scorer, but
we saw that, didn't we, in the 2022 Euros as well, when Ellen White was playing and doing all that work off the ball and running the channels and linking up play as well. And then obviously Alessia Russo is reaping the benefits as a substitute, coming on and scoring as well.
We saw a similar dynamic in the Euros as well, really, with Adjaman coming on,
indeed,
getting those goals. But Russo did of course get the equaliser in the Euros final, so she does come up with the goals when needed. Here is another Arsenal player, Wubben-Moy.
I think she also creates a lot of opportunities for others as well. The assists that she creates as a whole player.
It's a poor back pass to Wubben-Moy, and it's leapt onto by Xiao Ji Qin, who tries to in turn pass it round the corner for Wong Yan Wang, and it's a misplaced pass, and it's back with Morehouse for a rare touch.
Yeah, but I think again the purpose of this game is probably more for the fans, probably more for like the commercial side of things as well. You see it in the US where teams are so successful.
Oh dear, out comes the Chinese goalkeeper to clear it as the long ball was up for Russo. Completely kicked the air, missed the ball. Fortunately for her, her defender was there to clear that up, and that would have been a pretty hapless way to concede a 7th. But England are on the attack again. Jess Park level with the penalty area, out by the corner flag, tripped past her defender. puts in a beautiful ball, and it won't fall for Kelly. It's headed out before it could reach her. Will be collected by Lotte Wubben-Moy, just inside her own half. You can see more Chinese players ready to come on. It looks like they're going to make 3 changes in today's friendly. The rules are that you can have 6 substitutes permitted within 3 in-play stoppages, not including half time, and there's a concussion substitute allowed as well. China have only made 1 change at the break, so we've got 3 coming, and then they'll have 2 more. Got it really took me ages to work that maths out. Very simple mathematics.
Well, you got there in the end, so I'm pleased for you.
Pleased that I can count to 6. England win the throw-in, or in fact has been given as a free kick. A little late challenge on Charles in this left-hand channel. And a chance for them to get the ball in, and it's Chloe Kelly over at we all know how good she is from a dead ball delivery. Kelly, player that grew up just a bus ride away from Wembley in Ealing. And she's got some pretty special memories here at Wembley, scoring the winning goal in the 2022 Euros final against Germany. Chloe Kelly to deliver there. Jess Park is also there to the left if she wants to do a little short pass so she can cross, but Kelly looks like she's going to be whipping this in. She raises one hand in the air and does lift it towards the back post. Bronze steaming in, doesn't quite reach her. It's off the Chinese player and behind for a corner for England, which Kelly will trot over to deliver before having a little chat with her captain, Keira Walsh. And I think I can see England readying some players as well. Is that Lucia Kendall? Yes, it is. Stripped off and ready to come on for just her second England appearance. England take the corner short. Here's Park, back to Kelly. Kelly goes all the way back to Letitia, 25 yards out, lifts the ball goalwards. Headed but flicked back in by Bronze, and then flicked on by Charles, but comfortable for the goalkeeper just to gather. 25 minutes remaining, England 6, China 0 on Sports Extra 2, here on BBC Sounds. 6:06 on right now on 5 Live. And we've got 2 Premier League commentaries tomorrow, one at 2, West Ham, Liverpool, and then 4:30, second Premier League commentary of the day, Chelsea against leaders, Premier League leaders, Arsenal.
Just couldn't resist, could you?
So China ready to make those changes there. 3 of them about to come on. And we've got number 18, Tang Jia Lee, had a brief spell at Tottenham, so at forward. We also have Zhang Rei, experienced player, 36 years of age, has played at 3 World Cups with China. And the final change is Jun Kun. So there are those changes then for China. And England poised to also make a change. Lucia Kendall coming on then for her second appearance after making her debut against Australia. And who is she coming on for? She is coming on for Keira Walsh. So we might see a little bit of shuffling around in the England midfield, Karen Barsley.
Not only that, I think the armband has gone to what looks like Lucy Bronze on the opposite side as well. So, yeah, I think I'm really excited to see Lucia Kendall a bit more. Saw her a few times for Aston Villa this season so far, and I think she's been very impressive, and she's going to be looking to build on that impressive debut against Australia, won't she?
Very much so. She is having a great season at Aston Villa. I watched the Arsenal-Villa game at the Emirates where Villa drew 1-1, and she was really, really good in that game for Aston Villa. England attacking again with Toon on the edge of the box, couldn't quite get the shot off, and Wubben-Moy then steps forward and wins the ball back as it was played forward by China. Nice exchange between Charles and Kelly. It's then slid out to a player who's on a hat-trick, Georgia Stanway, and it's all the way back to with Letitia.
Yeah, Georgia Stanway's dropped in a little bit deeper to allow Lucia Kendall to get a bit more forward, as well as Ella Toone. And I think that's complemented Lucia Kendall in that game against Australia. And we talk about the midfield depth sometimes, don't we? And at the time, if we cast our minds back to 2023, it was severely lacking, wasn't it? I think Kira Walsh wasn't involved. She'd been injured against Denmark, and it was kind of like, right, who's gonna step in? I think it was Katie Zellem that did it in the end. But yeah, adding quality like Lucia Kendall is going to be really good for this England side going forward.
And that is something that England can do with a game like this, despite being up by 6 goals. As you say, kind of get that young blood into the squad, because Brazil 2027 isn't that long away, and you want options. As here is Kendall out by the touchline, gets the ball in, fired goalwards by Russo, blocked by Chinese defender, and a really good first couple of touches then for Kendall.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Really well worked into that wide area. Did a really good job of getting that pass away quickly. And Alessia Russo, that's what she's so dangerous at, is just framing the goal, isn't it?
Stanway forward to Kelly on the edge of the box, on the D, brought down, gets back up, slides it out to Park. Park chops back, shoots with her left, blocked, but she'll chase the loose ball as it goes out on that far side for an England throw-in. England want more goals here. They already have 6. They want a 7th in front of this big crowd, 80,000 here at Wembley. Ruben Moore now forward to Stanway. 5-yard pass to Charles. It's back with Ruben Moore in the centre circle. She plays it square to Letitia, who's not really had much to do at all, as England's centre-back playing in her preferred position, something she's not always been able to do for England. Wiegman often playing her in the right-back slot as Kelly takes on a player down the left, gets the ball in, it's punched out, breaks back to Park, she goes for goal, and it kisses the crossbar as it goes over. Good opportunity for Jess Park, but no goal on that occasion. Still England 6, China 0.
I love that selflessness from Lucy Bronze to find Jess Park just at the edge of the area, but I would have expected Lucy, as she does, just go crashing back towards that near post, maybe have a shot on target, but she recognised that's maturity from her.
Oh, and it's poor at the back from China as they tried to play it out from that goal kick, and they've gifted England a goal there. Really poor. The goalkeeper slipped as she received it back from her defender.
Short back pass, isn't it? Really left the goalkeeper out to dry there, and Ella Toone was absolutely all over it. She always is. She's always ready to pounce. We saw her do something very similar in the Manchester Derby not too many years ago, where she pounced on a poor pass from Chiara Keating and really punished China in this particular instance. Just complacency. I think the passing between them, the two Chinese players, the centre-back didn't look comfortable, didn't put enough on the ball, and then obviously the pressure from Alessia Russo forced the mistake that landed gratefully at Ella Toone's feet.
England 7, China 0, and Ella Toone has scored some screamers at Wembley. That was not one of them, but they all count.
What a gift.
Yeah, very much so. China in possession with their left back. She travels over the halfway line, no one intercepting her, so she'll continue to go as Jess Park hurries to get back. Out it goes to Janling Yan, who's not been on the ball much after a bright start to the second period. Cleared then by Georgia Stanway, who's on a hat-trick for England. This her 87th appearance, and she's only 26 years of age, Georgia Stanway. It's quite a remarkable number of caps for such a young person.
It is frightening, isn't it? I remember playing with her at Manchester City when she was quite young, as well as Ellie Roebuck and Kira Walsh, and Georgia always had this competitiveness about her, this almost maturity on the pitch, and she's really grown into that leadership role at Bayern Munich as well. And she's just a competitor. She always wants to be involved in everything. She's fierce physically, she's got such good technique as well, and she's obviously established herself
Here she is now, though, in her own penalty area as England try and play out from the back themselves, and they make a mess of it, and then China nearly hung it up at the back post for Zhang Linyan, but the ball was over the number 19 and they couldn't capitalise on England's mistake. But a rare moment of fluster from the England back four.
Commentator's curse, isn't it? Obviously waxing lyrical about a player and suddenly they find themselves in tight space and dispossessed.
China on the ball with their left back, all the players in England's half now. Out it goes to Zhang Linyan. She plays it back in field and the ball's put over the top, and Morehouse will just let that go past her and out for an England goal kick. Another change for England is imminent, and it's Taylor Hines, and recently switched her national allegiance from Jamaica to England and made her debut versus Australia. Arsenal player, of course, after making the change from in the summer from Liverpool.
Good call from Sarina Wiegman will do that for you, won't it? He'll play for us.
She's coming on then for Lucy Bronze, who gets standing ovation from a lot of the fans here in Wembley. She goes off on that far side. She's replaced by Taylor Hines.
Yeah, Niamh Charles just trots across the pitch to replace Lucy Bronze on the right-hand side. I think at one point maybe Maya Le Tissier might venture down that right-hand side. She must be a bit bored at the minute in terms of tempo.
China on the attack. I don't think Morehouse has had to make a save yet, Karen Bardsley, on this her debut.
No, I think there was that one cross that she took from the very early stages of the first half, and that was pretty much it in terms of any sort of activity with her feet, hands. Most of it's just been with her feet and ticking things over and supporting the back line.
Final quarter of an hour here at Wembley. England 7, China 0, and with Lucy Bronze going off and Keira Walsh going off, I'm on armband watch. Karen Bardsley, where is the armband? Who's got it? Who's the captain?
That is a great question. It is floating around somewhere, isn't it?
I'm struggling to see. We're quite far away here at Wembley. Every player, I'm looking at the arm.
I imagine it's on Stanway. Her shirt sleeves look a bit loose, so it's probably snuck under there. Her biceps aren't quite big enough just yet.
When we get confirmation of who has it, we will say. On the armband watch is our producer, George Cummings. England in possession then with Stanway, helps it back to Wubben Moy. Up to Kendall, who looks really comfortable in this England setup. She's got her socks slung low, one of those players is in midfield. A really good sharp control of the ball. Sarina Wiegman comes over to Lucy Bronze, gives her a big high five, and she comes to sit down. Broke her leg, of course, in the Euros in the summer, but played on. Such a warrior for England.
Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable, playing on with a fractured leg as well. And she was huge, in terms of the penalties that she was able to convert, but just her leadership. She's like another coach on the pitch, the way she organises, the way she takes players under her wing. She's just been absolutely a stalwart for this England side.
So our producer George Cummings thinks the armband is on Alessia Russo, but he hasn't got his glasses on, so we cannot confirm that. As Chloe Kelly steams forward on this left-hand side towards the byline, gets the ball in, takes a nick off the defender, and is caught by China goalkeeper Pan Hongyan. Who has the ball, and she bowls it out to her defender. He takes an awkward touch, plays it out to the Chinese left back. Forward it goes, and it's gobbled up by Stanway in the middle of the park. She helps it back to Taylor Hines. Hines back to Stanway on the turn. Forward to Kendall. Kendall with a wonderful ball to Toon into the path of Russo, and it's in the back of the net. Alessia Russo gets her goal, and England have an 8. Brilliant play down the centre of the park. Nice passing, and Ella Toon sets up her good mate Alessia Russo for England's 8. England 8, China 0.
Reunited at last, that link up between Ella Toon and Alessia Russo. They just know each other, don't they, so well. It's almost instinctual, just like they it's telepathic, their little link up as well. So Ella Toone finds herself in delightful pocket of space, and it is very close as Alessia Russo toes the line, but regardless, she works the two centre backs, finds a nice pocket, and just slots it home past the goalkeeper.
I think this might be ruled offside.
It's very close.
VAR here. All the players have gone back ready for the kick-off. The England fans are celebrating.
But hey, by the way, let's not underestimate the impact of Lucia Kendall there, getting that ball to Ella Toone with a lovely little weighted pass in, so making an impact straight away.
VAR are checking this, and the goalkeeper's got the ball at her feet ready for a free kick, anticipating that it is going to be offside. Our referee, Romanian referee Alina Pesciu, is just waiting for confirmation. We don't have semi-automated offside, so they'll be drawing the lines, and you can see on the screen that it looks very close. The crowd's getting restless, they don't like it, but I think it might have been given. The Chinese goalkeeper's given it to her teammate, and the goal stands. England 8, China 0. It looked from the naked eye that she might have been a touch offside, but
it was very close, I'm not going to lie. She was towing it, and it looked like there was a player just behind the other Chinese centre-back that may have been keeping her, Alessia Russo, onside. But regardless, she has to finish it. I think the goalkeeper maybe came down the line a little bit too far and opened up the goal, but it was a good finish nonetheless from Alessia Russo. Don't take anything away from it, or the build-up to it and Lucia Kendall's involvement.
So England have an 8th goal as it's about to hit the 80th minute mark here at Wembley. England trying to set Chloe Kelly away. It's defended, but it's now with Kendall in the centre of the park. She helps the ball back, but it's a poor pass back. Zhang Lin Yan, nice bit of footwork on the edge of the England box now. She lays it back, and the space out on this right-hand side, but the effort from goal comes in, and Morehouse doesn't even have to touch that. She lets it sail over the bar for an England goal kick.
It's a poor giveaway in the midfield though, and who it is again, it's Zhang Lin that's causing trouble again for China, just picking up, again, adding some pressure, picking up the regains, but the quality is just absolutely lacking with anything going forward from China.
England 8, China 0, Ghana on Tuesday for England, and Sarina Wiegman was lamenting the fact that the past 2 friendlies, both their opposition got red cards, which made the games a little different in their complexion and kind of harder to judge. And this one here has been, well, all England as Jess Park comes down the right. Her ball across the face of goal, cut out just in time by China's captain Wu Haiyan, because Russo was there ready to poke it in for her 2nd of the evening as England look ready to make another change, but they're coming forward again. Jess Park, this time the delivery is low, cleared by a Chinese defender and then fired out of play. And I know we've touched upon it already, Karen Barty, but will England have been thinking, I wish we'd have picked a tougher opposition? Has this game really taught England anything?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think the opportunity may have been missed, that maybe start a few more changes or start a few more debutantes or players with fewer caps, or maybe make some changes a little bit sooner. You know, the game state was in a way that it was going to be comfortable, I think, even quarter of the way through the first half. But yeah, this feels more like an opportunity for the fans to kind of come and see their favorite players and things like that, as opposed to anything that they're really going to glean from this game from a tactics standpoint.
Well worked down the left-hand side. Taylor Hines now, brilliant cross towards the back post, and Jess Park was winding up to strike it, but it was headed by the Chinese left back. England have it now with Letitia into Kendall, 25 yards from goal, plays a square pass to Stanway. It's now with Ella Toone. England caressing the ball around that pristine turf here at Wembley on this cold autumnal evening. Ella Toone forward to Hines. England in control, England cruising. Ella Toone now slides it into the path of Kendall. Brilliant little one-touch play in the forward pass from Park, too close to China's goalkeeper Pan Hongyan.
I love the thinking there though from Jess Park. She realises that the centre backs are quite narrow and tight, so she decides to go over, but yeah, just a little bit of miscommunication, slightly late run from Alessia Russo, but again, Lucia Kendall linking up nicely in the midfield with Jess Park.
Aggie Beever-Jones has stood next to her manager Sarina Wiegman on the sideline and has been now for a couple of minutes. The ball hasn't gone out of play. 83 minutes on the clock. England 8, China 0. She'll be desperate to get on to try and get a goal. Beever-Jones.
I think sometimes in games like this, you need to keep the ball speed up, keep the tempo up, and keep shifting the block and the opposition, and the gaps will appear, much like they have for Niamh Charles here.
Out on the right, Charles, ball across for Russo, who takes it first time, but couldn't guide it goalwards with the first time finish, and it goes behind for a goal kick, and that might be her last action of this game. Alessia Russo, as she looks towards the fourth official's board, and she is coming off, and she was wearing the captain's armband, so Karen Barnsley, keep an eye on where she takes that armband.
I think it's going to end up with Georgia Stanway, which we predicted that. You can see the future, can't we?
Thank God we got eyes on the armband at that moment. So, Georgia Stanway we've had 4 different England players wearing the armband as Beever-Jones comes on to replace Alessia Russo, having a great season with Chelsea, their top goal scorer in the WSL at the moment. And she scored a hat-trick here at Wembley versus Portugal in the Nations League in May. So, a player that's used to playing at this big old grand stadium.
I think Alessia Russo will be pleased with the fact she managed to get on the score sheet, but I think there were a few opportunities that went amiss, but you can never underestimate the value of the work that she does off the ball as well, pulling into those channels and making it absolutely nightmare for any opposition defenders, just pulling those back lines apart. But Aggie Beever-Jones will be dying to get on the score sheet, and she's so good in an England shirt. She can convert, she's ruthless, so let's hope we see more of that.
Yep, this is her 14th appearance for England, and she's already got 7 goals, so she's very productive with her output when playing in the white shirt of England. The ball's back with England's debutante, Anna Moorhouse, who hits it forward. This is a good moment for her to get that debut under her belt as China now come forward into the penalty area. Charles with the challenge, ball across and caught by Moorhouse as it was dinked across by Yang Lin Yang.
Again, down that left-hand side, she's a nuisance, but Anna Moorhouse stood up well. The ball is a little bit slippy. The pitch looks like it's got a little bit of dew still on it, and it just kind of bobbled through her hands a little bit, but she made the recovery. So listen, she hasn't had too much to do tonight, and I think the main thing is just get the nerves of playing out of yourself. When you're in front of 80,000 people, you made your England debut. It's something you would have hoped for your entire life, and it's a big moment for her. Unfortunately, she's not had more to do.
5 minutes to go till full time. I think that's sometimes the best way, particularly for a goalkeeper, to have quite an uneventful debut, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, mine was against Northern Ireland many, many moons ago.
England on the attack now. Here is Beever-Jones into the penalty area from a wide angle, tried to strike rather than cross off the captain of China behind for corner for England.
Again, it's Aggie Beever-Jones is driving into that space. That space has been there all night long, and that's where Alessia Russo was getting so much success as well. So China not really adapting to the threat throughout the course of the 90 minutes so far.
A couple of Chinese changes are imminent, but England will take this corner first. All the players bunched up at the back post, and as it comes in towards Lucia Kendall, I thought it was going to float right towards the back post where she was. It didn't, it was headed clear. Here is Taylor Hines now, and unchallenged, she's allowed to just play the ball into the penalty area, but straight into the gloves of Pan Hong Yan, the young Chinese goalkeeper, who bowls it out immediately to captain Wu Hai Yan. She fires it forward into Zhang Lin Yan, and England steal it back. Here is Kendall, one of the few inexperienced players that has got on the pitch tonight. Sarina Wiegman's not the kind of coach that gives people minutes for sentimental value or anything like that. She only plays you if you're good enough to get in the squad.
Yeah, I don't think sentiment and Sarina go together. But yeah, I was kind of hoping that you'd see, Godfrey get on a little bit as well. She was obviously really great against Spurs for London City Lionesses. But you're absolutely right. I think the purpose of fixtures like these, or the purpose of camps like these, is to see players, especially new players in England's environment, how they cope with new intensity of training sessions, new information, a new way of working. She could get a feel for the kind of person that they are in and around the group.
Stanway wins the ball high up. Good transition moment this for England. Ella Toon now driving at the Chinese defence, slides it out to Park on the left-hand side. Switched over from the right. Park and Toon combine. They give the ball away though. China will try and carry it out and have it with their right back. And a moment ago their attendance was announced. It was supposedly a sellout, but still full of empty seats. 74,611 is a pretty good number of people though for a friendly. And they've been treated to 8 goals this evening. England 8, China 0. Final minute here at Wembley on Sports Extra 2 as Niamh Charles bulldozes her way forward on that right-hand side.
Really fascinating. I'm just watching, sorry there Flo, I was just watching Taylor Hines, and she's drifted into midfield a little bit more, just sort of leaving Niamh Charles on this left-hand side just to kind of create like a situational back three.
Trying to win the ball on the halfway line here. They've got 4 players coming forward. Slid into the striker. And a save by Anna Morehouse. And I think that is the first save she's had to make. And it was a comfortable low strike straight at her. Good save from her, from Tang Jia Li.
Yeah, just an angled strike from Tang Jia Li, and a lot of Wubben Moy gets around to just close down the angle and make it very, very comfortable for Anna Morehouse. Big structure behind the ball. She's a great shot stopper. That's nothing she would have never seen before.
3 minutes on the end of the 90 then for injury time as Jess Park gets past her defender on the left hand side into the box from a wide angle, plays the ball across the face of goal with the outside of her foot. Wonderful. Didn't quite find Beaver Jones, so it was cleared by the Chinese captain, the centre half, before it could reach her. Throw in now for Hines. She goes back to Wubben Moy, who's not had much to do since coming on. None of the England defenders have had a whole lot to do really in this game. It's been a very comfortable match for England, and one of celebration and joy rather than a tough challenge.
It's certainly not been a test, has it, Flo? It's been very comfortable, lots of space in midfield areas. I think obviously the makings of a good player, particularly in the midfield, is kind of how you can receive the ball in tight spaces, how you can keep it, and how you can get your team forward and create. And I think it's been very easy for the skilled and talented midfield that England have, and I think that feels to me where there's an opportunity missed a little bit to rotate ever so slightly. But yeah, there's a reason that Sarina Wiegman is as successful as she is, and while I'm in the commentating booth.
Changes then for China. On come Shen Meng-yu. And also coming in to the fray is Lu Yang Tong. A little bit late in the day for those changes, but a moment for them to come on here at Wembley in the final stages. We've got 90 seconds remaining now. England with the throw-in deep in Chinese territory. China win it back, fire it forward, but it'll be brought down by the foot of Wubben Moy, who slots it to Letitia. Well worked by Georgia Stanway. It's played over the top for Beaver Jones. Takes the ball down in the box, but touches a heavy one, takes her away from goal. Does manage to smuggle it back to Kelly, though, who squares it to Ella Toon, who tried to play it back into the feet of Chloe Kelly. Option on the left might have been the better one. And then it's won well on the halfway line by Wubben Moy, who had a shirt tugged by the Chinese attacker and wins the free kick.
That's really good from Lana Wubben Moy, stepping in there, absolutely not allowing that Chinese attacker to turn and get forward. Really, really brave defending. But over the course of the evening, there's not really been any sort of threat in behind this England back line, so that just shows her confidence, her maturity as well, the type of good player that Lotte Wubben Moy is, and she's reaping the benefits tonight of getting some minutes.
Perhaps one final chance here for England as Kendall slides it through, looking for Toon. Out came China's goalkeeper. Brilliant line breaking past that from Kendall, though, and it just a little too heavy was weighted a little lighter, would have been perfect for Toon. But she's again been impressive, Lucia Kendall.
She has. She's showing a lot of maturity coming on, into that midfield, replacing someone like Kira Walsh. And, being able to get in those pockets of space and play those penetrating passes, as you say, very confident.
There is the full-time whistle then. England hit 8 past China without reply. A hat-trick for Georgia Stanway, 2 for Beth Mead, Lauren Hem, Ella Toon and Alessia Russo all on the score sheet as Sarina Wiegman wins her 50th game as England manager. Not really a challenge, this China side for England. A very celebratory win here at Wembley. Full-time score, Karen Bardsley, England 8, China 0.
Certainly, I thought Georgia Stanway was very impressive, a hat-trick as well and a penalty to boot. But yeah, I think China were very poor. I think they kind of just capitulated, didn't they, ultimately, after those first 3 goals went in for England, and it became just very flat and almost just a standard outing at the end of the day. But Anna Morehouse will be pleased that she's finally got a cap to her name, and there's lots of positives in terms of Lucia Kendall getting more minutes as well. So lots to look forward to going into that game against Ghana.
Yep, Ghana at St Mary's on Tuesday next for England. Updates of that on 5 Live. And just looking at the team and the result, Karen, a debut for Morehouse, a second cap for Kendall. A couple of players in the squad that didn't come on today, but Freya Godfrey and Nuke Denton. They will have been training with England all week, so a chance for Sarina Wiegman to get a sight of them in an England shirt and then in a training camp. But what do you think are the kind of main learnings for Sarina Wiegman and England from this game?
I mean, from this game, there won't be a whole lot other than I've enjoyed the ruthlessness that I've seen in front of goal tonight. I think, seeing how a young player comes on, I think you want to be consistent in your performances with England, and I think Lucia Kendall's shown that. She was obviously very good against Australia, even though they were down to 10 players. And I think, again, there was no sort of drop in quality when she came onto the pitch. If anything, loads of space, she thrived in it. In terms of Anouk Denton, she's obviously been a key player for West Ham, and I think Sarina Wiegman's had eyes on her because she was a late replacement in October, wasn't she, for Wiegman? So yeah, just being in that environment, the key things are just embedding the principles, I think, into the players, seeing how they are in the environment, how they get on with the other players and how they handle things. And I mean, don't forget, by the way, that their coaching staff has changed quite a lot as well, so they'll be finding out their new roles and how they all work together too.
All the England players, those on the bench and those that played, with the coaching staff in the centre of the pitch in a big huddle. A resounding 8-0 victory for England here at Wembley. That's it for our coverage here on Sports Extra 2. 6:06 with Ali Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton begins shortly on 5 Live.